So, you've probably come to this video thinking, how do I make this football graphic? Well, if you stay for the full duration of the video and unlock the 4 letters, you'll be able to use the PSD to your full advantage. But before we get into things, make sure you like, subscribe, tell me what you want to see next for my tutorials, and let's now jump into it. As you can see on screen, I've got an image of Haaland. So what I'm going to do is take you through a step-by-step process of how I make this graphic, so let's just jump straight into it. For my first few steps, what I'm going to do is identify where I want my shadows to be and where my light source is going to be coming from. So I'm going to get rid of the colors I had selected already from the Man City logo, and I'm going to put some foot shadows in using this foot shadow brush here that you can find on one of my previous videos, which I'll link in the top right corner for you guys. And now that the shadow has been done, what we're going to do is we will come to camera raw filter, and we're going to come to our exposures and increase it by 0.15. And for our clarity, we're going to put that at around 10 and put that texture all the way up to around 45. We'll move to our detail and we'll move the sharpening to around plus 70. But for our next few steps, we're going to come into our color lookup. We'll come to saturation, and we're going to turn down the greens and also turn down the yellows just to get rid of any weird toning that we have going on. And then for my next step, I'm going to increase the oranges to around 20, minus 20 on the hue. And then I'm going to come to adjustments, go to color lookup, clip mask it, and then put a 3 strip on, like so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the Manchester City logo and we'll grab the 2 differing blues, make a new layer beneath the Manchester City player Haaland and the shadows we have going on. And with our pen tool selected, what we're going to do is use the shape for the pen tool with the blues we had selected. We're going to start with the darker blues. So what we'll do is we'll put our pen tool down the bottom and put our pen tool up here, but then we're going to create a curve kind of layer, and then we'll link that up together. And we're going to continue to do this around the frame, just continually changing the colors like so. We'll go with a lighter color here for this middle part under Haaland's one, but what we're going to do is we're going to go for a really big curve and bring that down, but we just want a bit more angling on the bottom, just so it doesn't look so straight. And we might actually angle it a different way, just so we've got some differing angles and shapes within our graphic. And we'll link that up like so. Pressing Ctrl T, moving off the layer, and then moving back into here. We're going to have this one facing this way, and then we're going to increase the sizing of it ourselves, just holding down Shift while using the transforming tools on the side, which are these little things here. We're going to make a new layer, and we'll flip the colors again. What we'll do is for this one, we're going to come to our shapes, and come to our circle layer, holding down Shift so we get a true circle, and then again making a new layer like so, moving that around, and again we're going to make a new layer. For this one here, we're going to go back to our pen tool, I'm going to make a little curve, come back to our pen tool again and make sure that goes across the whole way. What we're looking for is some little bubbly kind of effects. I'm going to make a new layer again, but what I'm going to do is actually adjust this color that we already have selected. Just going to go a tad little bit lighter, just so we have some differing kind of effects and stuff across the frame, like so. And we'll move this one across, and to separate these colors again, I'm going to make another light blob kind of thing, but we'll have it going this way so there's some separation. And now what I want as well is some to be a bit bigger in the background. So again, I'm going to flip the colors, and we'll have one going directly behind Erling. What we're going to do is we're going to move it a little bit over, but then we're going to come into this one here, and we're going to change the color on it, just because we want a different kind of color so they stand out from each other. And we'll change the angle on it just so it is moving a bit more to my left. And what I might do is with this city logo, we're going to get the dark blue, and we're going to make a layer behind and put the dark blue on it, and then I'm going to change a couple of these to the whites to kind of break up the colors. And then with everything on the background, I'm going to get an image of the city stadium. Now that we've got the image of the Etihad, we're going to drag and drop it in, and then we're going to resize it like so, change it to overlay, put the opacity down to around 15%, come into our adjustments, which is the circle with the dot in it, put the black and white layer on it, and then we're just going to change the opacity a tiny little bit more down, and then we'll come to our soft brush, turn the flow to around 20%, and we're just going to brush out from the bottom, just so this Etihad part is sticking mainly around the top of the composition, and it's not drawing to the bottom, and it's not looking weird with where our player is placed. Now for my next step, I'm going to create a layer behind early, and I'm going to put the flow back up to 100%, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a light source behind him. So moving down his back, just around his neck and his head as well, and some little placements behind his arm. So when we're doing this, what we want to be doing is changing the brush size, like so. I reckon that works. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come onto Erling, and I'm going to hold down Control on our mask. Then I'm going to press Control Shift I, and then press Control Backspace. Then we're going to click on Linear Dodge Add, and I'm going to move it over 1, maybe even 2. We'll see how 2 looks on the other side. Yep, I reckon 2, like so. And then we're going to again click on the layer. We're going to put our flow down to around 15%, and with our white selected, we're going to draw some highlights onto him, just onto his arms mainly, to where we've got the light source coming from, like so. Just continue this on the arms. We don't want it too accentuating it too much on the body, so what we're going to do is we're just going to keep this around the arm slightly and moving it around the kit. Again, we're just going to continue this process just around the arms, just so we have this kind of glow effect going on, and we can just see the difference that that makes with the kits. Then for my next 2 steps, I'm going to create 2 new layers, change them to overlay, call one W and call one B. Knock the flow up and then put the opacity down to around 20%. We'll start with our whites. What we're going to do is we will brush over the lighter areas of the image. So all the areas that have some light on the skin tones and stuff. Using the whole body, not forgetting the whole body of the graphic. Like so. And then we'll switch to our shadows. So with that, what we're going to do is we'll go over the shadows of the graphic. Over areas where the dark already is. Like so. Just drawing in the light and the dark, and we can see the difference that this makes with the color correction. What we actually want is a bit more shadow around the top of the part, but then we're also going to add some more light in. Now we're going to make it a tiny little bit smaller. We're going to come to liquefy. And what we'll do with the forward clockwise tool is we're going to twirl it a little bit, just so we get some kind of wavy effects going. Change it to overlay, and then knock our opacity down to around like 16%. And then again, we'll probably resize it. We just want a bit of Erling Haaland in it, like so. And we'll repeat that across the graphic. But we'll change the opacity every single time we are putting this on new circles, just so we have different levels of text points and draw points for the viewer to look at. And again, we'll also change the angle each time as well we do this, just so it's something different on every single circle and it's not the same repeated effect throughout the graphic. Like so. And then for my next few steps, what I'm going to do is add in some background stuff onto each circle. So I'm going to grab in 6 images of Haaland, some 6 high quality ones, not some low quality stuff. 3, 4, hopefully grab another one, 5, and we'll drag these in. That's the city one, this one. So what we'll do is we'll drag that in, put it beneath the layer we selected, and then move it across to where we want it. Resize it so it's appropriately resized, and we'll knock down the opacity to around 18%, as well as putting a black and white layer on it. So for this, what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the clipping mask, group them together, clip it back on, like so, and then again change this to overlay and put the opacity down to around 50%, and we're going to repeat this same process throughout the images. So black and white layer, clipping mask, group them together, change it to overlay, clipping mask, drag it beneath the text and put our opacity down to around 10%, just so we've got that kind of backing image there. And I think that's it for all of them. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide the city layer, press Ctrl Shift Alt and E, come to camera raw filter, come to basic, put our clarity up to around 40%, same with our texture to around 10, increasing the contrast and increasing the exposure. I'm going to put around 20% sharpness on it, a little bit of grain and a little bit of vignette. Then we'll put the city logo back in and see if any of these color lookups work. This one sort of works, so we'll put it around 30%. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my 1K giveaway pack, and I'm going to search up dust, and we're going to drag in dust 3. We'll set this to screen, rotate it 90 degrees clockwise, move to the levels, and there we go. That's how I made this Erling Haaland graphic. If you guys watch the full duration of the video, you should be able to unlock the PSD. But if you have any issues with the letters or combination, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, comment what you want to see next on this channel for tutorials. See ya.